Long time no see in terms of a transparency type of video. It's been a little while. First and foremost, I want to say thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. I hope that this video is a source of inspiration and it just kind of ignites something in you that you maybe have always wanted to do, have always thought about. And just most importantly, this is a safe space, right? I want my channel to be a safe space. This will be a moment for me to just kind of fill you guys in terms of what's been going on and why I've been away for a while. I have come bearing it all. Literally, I have no makeup on. Like, I'm just like, this is real basic of me. But I felt that that wasn't necessary today. Of course, next videos in the future, maybe, but not today. So let's get started. So first things first, where have I been and what have I been up to since like my last video like this? And it's been a long time. I don't even remember the last time I had a transparency type of one-on-one with y'all. So first and foremost, I'm gonna kind of go back. So in 2022, I was working for a big tech company, and then I went through my first layoff. That, by the way, was like a huge thing for me because I had never been through a layoff before like that. So I didn't really know what to expect, and I also kind of felt like, wow, all that hard work I put in to get to that point just kind of was like, just blew up in my face. And then after, that position ended, I kind of just kept going. I did more acting stuff in the time frame of me looking for a new job. I really had invested more time into my business, Lucy J Accessories. And like I said, I was still looking for a new job because I was like, I cannot not work. Like, I had recently moved into my apartment at that time, and I had bills, right? So I was blessed to be able to get another job with another big tech company, but I was a contract role. And once that ended abruptly as well, it was kind of back to, oh my God, I don't want to leave LA yet. I got to figure this out. Things have to work, And God had blessed me with a new job, a full-time remote position. They found me on LinkedIn, and I always tell people, make sure your LinkedIn is updated because you just never know who's watching, who's looking for someone. You need to always stay ready so you don't have to get ready, So they found me on LinkedIn, and then from there started a 2-year journey, 2 years and I think it was 8 or 9 months journey of me at that position, that remote company. It was awesome in terms of being able to work from home and having a little bit more flexibility in terms of my day-to-day lifestyle. But the job necessarily was not my purpose at all. It was not something I felt that I was called to do. And things had shifted. Life shifted for me in terms of like, what's next? I didn't really know. I didn't know if I was supposed to stay in LA. I was really trying to make it work in terms of being in LA and just trying to find out what's my next journey look like. I really still wanted to do Lucy J Accessories, my e-commerce accessories business, but financially at the time it just wasn't really bringing in the profit that I needed to sustain it, because you spend a lot of money when you have an online business, right? You got marketing, branding, you got the merch, of course, all the things that go with the merch, and the whole process of it. Pop-up shops, they also cost a lot of money. So I had to take a step back from Lucy J Accessories. I didn't say no completely to it, but I definitely was not investing a lot of time into it because of the profit that I felt like I was not gaining, and it was more of a loss. I felt like I was losing a lot of money versus gaining it, so I took a step back. So and of course I had bills, right? You gotta do what you gotta do. And so in that time frame, still just trying to figure out life. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I was trying to figure out what the next step was. I had picked up more jobs while I'm still working my full-time job, still doing some acting stuff, just still trying to be creative, but also, like I said, I have to make a living. So fast forward to, I want to say this year, top of the year, I'll never forget telling one of my best friends, because she was being honored with the award, and we had a conversation in my apartment in the kitchen, and I was like, I feel so guilty. Like, I have all these amazing things I've always wanted: the car, the apartment, the job, and I feel still unfulfilled. I feel unhappy, and I don't know where my life is taking me. I don't know what's next for me, but I just know something has to change, because I don't know if I can keep this up for a long time or for another year. I would never forget we had that conversation. It was in the springtime of this year. And she was also going through her own personal things. And when we had that discussion, I just didn't know what was next. And I just prayed every single day, like, God, I don't know where you're taking me in terms of this life, where you want me to be, but I pray that you just guide me in terms of like that next step. So my 31st birthday came around in September, and you know, things were going well after that. And then comes October, we all know that the country has been going through a lot, right? With, you know, layoffs and all the kind of thing with employment for everyone. No one has been safe at all because of the current administration. So your girl was no stranger to that. I work for a small startup company, but unfortunately, if no money's coming in like that, they don't really need, you know, me. And it's crazy too how God set this whole thing up, because I was already looking for a new job for a long time, trying to leave that job. But I also was like, okay, something has to change. Like, I was tired of living in my apartment at the time. I had been there 4 years. Then I was like, okay, where do I want to live? Like, I was looking at apartments, but nothing was calling me. Plus the prices, I was like, I've refused to pay these crazy prices of LA. I just don't feel comfortable doing this because it's just not fair to me. Like, I just knew that that wasn't for me, but I just didn't know the steps to take. And so fast forward to, you know, I want to say early October, I had another conversation with a very close friend, and I told her, I was like, look, I might be going away from LA for a little bit just so I can like figure things out, because right now I just don't feel like I'm making any progress in my life. Like, I'm doing stuff, but I still feel like I'm not making progress. And for me, you know, I have to be making progress. That's just who I am as a person. I'm like, look, I'm 31 now. Things are not the way they were when I was in my 20s. Yeah, I accomplished a lot in my 20s, but I want to accomplish so much more in my 30s. And it's a different type of, I want to say, mentality, honestly, you have as a 30-year-old woman. I'm not even thinking about the family life, right? The fact that I'm not married or I don't have any children. I'm up here thinking about, okay, what does life look like for me as an individual in my 30s? In terms of location, in terms of people, in terms of how I make my living, everything. Like, that's literally where my headspace has been for a year, but turning 31, it got even more increased. I'm like, damn, this is how it is when you're 30 years old. Like, everything just is different. You know, the way you think, the way you move, it's just like, you got to be more intentional, because if you're not going to be happy and satisfied. So when I had the conversation with my friend about, you know, I think about leaving LA for a little bit so I could figure things out and not have all the pressure of it all. When I say leaving LA for a little bit, I meant basically going back to be with my mom, being closer to my mom, and spending a lot more time at home. That way I have less pressure on my back, and I'm able to travel a little bit more. I'm able to figure things out in terms of location of where I want my next journey to be. And I had got an email actually from my job at the time, like, hey, by the way, we're gonna be doing a freeze of hiring. And that pretty much is my job, well, was my job at that place. You know, I was in charge of hiring. So pretty much if they're putting a freeze on hiring for 6 months, by the way, what do you need me for? Obviously they don't need me, because that's a long time, 6 months. So the writings were on the wall. I didn't have official confirmation yet in terms of my position, but I kind of knew that something was about to happen. So come my Monday, I talked to my boss, and she was like, you know, just hold off for a little bit. I don't have more information yet. I just found out myself, which is kind of odd, but that's just how that company was. The transparency wasn't fully there. And I was like, you know what? I'm already making my moves, so y'all let me know what's up. So they did. That Friday, I was in Detroit. It's crazy how this happened, because the first time I was laid off with Snap, I pretty much was by myself in my apartment. You know, it was the first time I went through anything like that. I was by myself, and you know, I just kind of moved on, trying to figure it out. But the second time, this time, when we were in the meeting, my boss and I, and as soon as the meeting started, you know, she sent me an email saying, you know, lay off, you know, information and documents. I was in a parking lot in the car. I was in a church parking lot. My mom had like a concert she was doing. It was like a gospel concert, a choir. And I was in the parking lot, and I was like, that's so interesting how God had this particular conversation to be about in this moment, because we could have had this conversation like before I went to Detroit, before I came to this concert, any other time of day. God intentionally put me at that location for that moment, the concert was starting in like 2 hours before or after I had this meeting with my boss. And she was basically telling me, we got this hiring freeze, so obviously, unfortunately, we are gonna have to have you take a step back for a little bit. So basically a layoff. And then when she was telling me everything, and she kind of just spilled all the tea, and I was like, you know what? Okay, because for me, I already was trying to get out of that job. But I was like, I wouldn't quit my job unless I had a pneumo planned out or already accepted an offer somewhere else. God removed me from that job because he knew, like, even though it was remote and it was, the flexibility was amazing, he removed me from that because it was not my purpose and I wasn't really happy there. And so I'm thankful the way it happened because I was able to still financially be covered and just kind of take a step back from that. And the pressure, it was just off of me in that point. And I was like, wow, like, thank you, Jesus, that chapter is officially closed. I closed my laptop up and I was like, oh my God, like I always thought about what is the day gonna be? What is it gonna look like for me to no longer work for this company? Where I'm gonna be at in my life when that happens? And for me to be here is actually insane because after that meeting, I spent time with my family. It was amazing. I was with my family. I was in Detroit, spent time with them, enjoyed that moment, talked to my aunt about it because she also has been laid off this year from her job, and just trying to like just figure out what my next move is, right? So came back to LA. The writings were on the wall. Like, okay, I got to move out my apartment. I don't want to pay this high rent, and plus I'm looking for a job. Yeah, I'm still getting compensated because of severance, but I just want to be smart with everything I'm doing going forward. So I did decide to leave the apartment, gave my notice, and then before I gave my notice, it was crazy. It kind of like pushed me out. I got a letter from my building manager, hey, by the way, we are increasing the rent. I said, increasing the rent again? I'm like, I know it's been a year, but the rent was already a lot compared to what I was paying when I first moved in there. And I was like, that's it, like the writings are on the wall, it's time to go. So I gave my notice, and my building manager, of course, he didn't want me to leave because I was kind of like an OG at that apartment building. But I was like, I gotta do what's best for me. Made it official in terms of me saying, you know what, God, I surrender. You clearly want me to move out this apartment. You no longer want me to work that job. Leaving LA is the best choice for me because I could have stayed. I had a friend tell me, hey, you can stay in my spare bedroom. I was called to leave that environment, which is crazy because I fought so hard to get to LA 11 years ago. But I was called to leave that environment because I just knew I needed a break. My mind, my body, every single thing needed a break. 11 years of grinding my ass off, working so hard, being very accomplished in all those things, from graduating college to working in the industry of entertainment, to starting my own businesses, working for some really big companies, all those things, all those amazing milestones. But I knew, like, I gotta take a step back from this. And so that's exactly what I did. Bought my things, y'all, and I'm officially back in Vegas. I don't know how long this will be. I'm gonna be doing back and forth for probably a while. Vegas to LA, going back and forth. I can still get that LA thing that I love about LA, which is the beaches, the weather, the food, my friends, but in terms of my home base for now, it's gonna be Vegas. And while I'm here, this is my intention to, number one, rest. That is my intention. I need to rest my body, my mind. Like my mom told me, she was like, you are gonna need some time. She's like, you are coming off of a high of 11 years in a mentality of, I gotta do this, I gotta work, I gotta do that, because that's just how it is when you live in LA. It's not a cheap place to live. You gotta work super, super hard to be able to sustain, but also to reach the next level of where you wanna be, because that's just how it is. So my mom has to remind me, you probably first need to start off with just resting. Yeah, do what you need to do from home, but rest. So that's number one of what I will be doing here. It's just resting. My mom's like, I got you, just rest, which I'm so thankful for my mom because she's really had my back since I got here. Even before I got here, she rearranged everything for me to make sure I'm super comfortable, and she's been a blessing, and I'm so thankful for her. She's right. I need to rest. I need to just get my mind and my body in a restful state, because I feel like living in LA is a fight or flight. in a survival mode that is next level. And that's why you have to work so hard. Like, it's a great place to be, but like I said, it's not a cheap place to be, especially if you have a certain quality of lifestyle that you like to obtain and keep for yourself. I feel like being back in Vegas right now, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air, because I haven't lived here since I was 20 years old. Actually, yeah, 20. I moved away when I was 20. I'm 31. So it's a different place from number one. Vegas is a different place. And number two, like I said, I just want to just spend time with my mom too. This is a great opportunity to spend more time with my mom and just really build that relationship up even more, because living in LA, I wouldn't come out here too much to visit because I was working all the time. So I'm super excited to spend that quality time with her and make new memories. And while I'm here, my plan is to just be intentional and create opportunities of income that are more purposeful for me. A lot of digital things that I'm going to be starting up, from music to my accessories line to being back consistently on YouTube, which I'm super excited about, y'all, because I missed y'all so much. Like, I missed doing my YouTube, I missed vlogging and just having raw moments and just letting y'all into my world. And this is it, you know. So this break that I'm taking, probably for a year, I'm thinking a year, is going to really push me back in terms of alignment from my life and where I am now as a 31-year-old woman. And also, I'm going to be traveling a lot. I'm going to take you guys with me as I travel the world. We're going to do international places. We're going to do domestic, you know, in the States. And we're going to figure out where we want to be. You know, what's that next step? Because a year from now, I plan on having it figured out. And if I don't have it figured out, it's fine too. But I plan on having it figured out. That's my goal. So, yeah, that definitely is something I'm looking forward to. And it's going to be different, but it's definitely going to be worth it. So, yeah, that's my update, y'all. More to come. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this way more often, but I did want to start this off with being super honest, and like I said, just kind of bearing everything out to catch you guys up in my life and what's been going on. And like I said, this is a new journey, it's a new chapter. I feel in a good place. I have a peace within my spirit. I've had it for a couple weeks now. When I made my decision to take a step back from LA, I had a real big peace in me about that decision, which is crazy considering the fact that I fought so hard to get to LA. For me to be able to walk away like that was actually insane. I'm so proud of myself because I did not think I had that in me, but that just shows you my level of growth and maturity. I used to always say, I'm never moving back to Vegas. I'm never doing that. You don't know what you're gonna do until it's time to do it. Never say never, like my good sis Brandy says. Never say never, because I swear to you, anything can happen. And you have to follow what God wants for your life. He might want you to go back to that space. It's not going back in a negative way. This is how I had to think about it and pray about it. I even asked ChatGPT about it, honey. It's not going back in a negative place. It's going back in a place of alignment and just kind of clearing your mind to prepare you for that next chapter, that next journey. What will my next 11 years look like? This is going to set me up for my next 11 years, this move back here. So I look at it as a fresh start, and the world is my oyster, as my good friend would say as well. I can live wherever I want to live. I can do whatever I want to do, and being here would give me that clarity to make it happen. So thank y'all so much for watching. Like I said, more content on the way. I'm gonna let y'all into my life here in Vegas and being back in LA, back and forth, and everything else that we're gonna do, from business ideas and all the ideas I have and things I want to share with y'all. We're gonna make it happen here on my YouTube. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. If we want to stay in contact with you, definitely message me. Of course, Instagram at Janae_Penn, TikTok at Janae Penn. I'm on all things, y'all. You know what? I am just out there. So definitely keep in contact with me. But I appreciate you and your time. I know this was a lot of information. This is a lot of talking, but sometimes that needs to happen. So thank you for being here. I love you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.